So what is a buyer persona, target market, avatar? They're all kind of the same thing. Essentially, it's who is the person that you want to be your customer. Now, when you think about a target market or you're trying to put together a persona, it's very important that you think about who this person is from two angles. One is the demographic angle, another is the psychographic angle. The demographic angle is like age, gender, location, income, whether they have kids or not, what kind of car they drive. Those are demographics, and you definitely want to write some of those down. The psychographic angle is more about their emotional state, how they think about things, what they believe. One of my favorite questions to ask when I work with clients about their avatar is, what do they believe to be true about the world that's true? What do they believe to be true about the world that's false? These questions really stretch our idea of the psychographic of who we're trying to talk to and help us more understand deeply how to position ourselves, the brand, the company, the product, whatever it is that you're trying to get them to engage with and see in a way that is of value to them. And without these things, it's really hard to know how to do it in an effective way, what kind of messaging you need, what kind of videos or copy or creative you need to help them see and understand this value. So you take all the demographics and then you take all the psychographics and you just want to paint a bit of a picture. It doesn't have to be a perfect picture. I've worked with various avatars. They all kind of fit in some way together. I generally, most of my customers are people who get their clients online. They have some kind of business. They are growth-driven entrepreneurs that have multiple income streams or want to develop multiple income streams. And they have a genuine interest in making more money, particularly making more money at higher margins so that they can have a bit more time freedom. I find I don't work with people who are I got to hustle all the time for the rest of my life. I like to work with people that are trying to build businesses for sustainability, enough income to support their life, and they want to do it in an efficient way and not just run around with their heads cut off chickens or whatever that saying is. Anyway, my point being that that's both demographic and psychographic information, and it's important to go into detail, but it's also important to keep it broad and not get bogged down in the complexity of who you're trying to talk to, because at the end of the day, you will attract different kinds of people, and your TAM, your total addressable market, will expand and contract as you develop the product or service that you have. The other thing I want to mention is sometimes we get stuck on target market when really we should be focusing on target problem. Now, consider the real estate industry for a moment. There's so many markets within real estate. I guess the total addressable market of real estate is people who want to buy and sell homes. Underneath that, you might have families. You might have couples, dual income, no kids couples. You might have young couples. You might have elderly retirement people looking to move to a senior home. You might have estate deals after someone's passed away. There's all these target markets inside that total addressable market. So if you were to choose one of those to focus on, it would be a target market. However, there's tons of real estate agents that don't necessarily niche down to any of those markets. They just stick with the total addressable market, which is anyone who wants to buy and sell a home. One could argue that if they were to focus on a specific niche inside of that, sure, maybe they could become more skilled or start to build up a clientele within that space to make them more desirable. But at the end of the day, they don't have to do it, because real estate is about a target problem. You want to sell a home, you want to buy a home. Those are the problems. We need to sell our home, we need to buy a new home, we need to move, whatever the case may be. The same can be true of the product space. You might have a product, let's say it's skincare. Now, you could do it for a target market, which is maybe women between the ages of 30 and 40 who are a little bit insecure about their wrinkles and they want to have smoother skin so that they can look younger. That would be an addressable market and a niche problem. However, you could also brand, market, and advertise it for people who just want skincare. Again, I could argue that The first example I gave would probably give you a better brand. It would probably make you stand out more within the skincare market. And it's one of the reasons why like a company like Estee Lauder owns multiple brands that all do skincare, because they're each addressing a kind of different segment and each addressing kind of a different problem. And lastly, this can be applied if you're a service provider too, whether you do construction, agency work, creative services, coaching and consulting like I do. You can start with target market, demographic, avatar, buyer persona, really flesh that out. Ask yourself, who do I like to work with, and what customers, clients have the best experience with me and I have the best experience with too, and genuinely what are my values? Usually that's a good place to start. Like one of my values is efficiency and simplicity, so I tend to like working with customers that also value that too, but it's not 100% necessary to have a successful business. It just makes you happier, of course. But while you're thinking about target market, also add in that target problem. So when I used to run Facebook ads, which is how I got started kind of in the online space, I was solving for a target problem first. Anyone who wanted Facebook ads, who felt like their ads could be better. And I still work with people to do that. But over time, I started to go more into target market as well, because I didn't just want anyone that needed help with Facebook ads. It'd be great if you're at a certain level, you've already spent a certain amount, you have certain goals that you want to do, like collect leads or specifically sell a product. So these things evolve. At the end of the day, the best thing to do is just start thinking about it, start writing it down, but don't get too lost in the details. I have a sheet below. Feel free to download it. It'll help you ask some questions about target market, audience, demographic, and ideally, you'll have a better idea of who you're talking to so that you can put it in the copy, so that you can reach out, whether it's cold reach outs, warm reach outs, so that you just know what kind of person it is and that there's synergy between your website, your social media content, your messaging towards those people. Hopefully this helped, and I'll see you in another one.